Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not care?
Well, hey, are you listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, present, and future of Christian music. And my name's Joel. I'm here with my good friend Brandon, and we connected over a mutual love of some particular artists, but also have pretty different tastes when it comes to things. And so we get to experience new stuff from each other while sometimes inviting some friends along for the ride. Brandon, how you doing today, my friend?
Doing excellent.
Awesome. Anything that's just like amazing about your day today?
Well, recently, Colony House was running a sale online.
Uh-huh.
So I was able to pick up some merch. So I'm wearing right now a Colony House hummingbird shirt.
It's a nice
So-
shirt, a little baseball theme.
I liked it. Yeah, I feel like it's cool. I feel like it's nice. I remember whenever I picked up some merch last time, it had like these like purple fingernails and all on it. So I felt like it was merch that if you wear and someone knows what you're representing, you can wear it. But if they don't know, then it just is confusing. It's
Yeah.
like who is it? Like is that what are they doing? And so I like this.
Well,
I think-
there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad you found a good shirt that you like. Repping a great band. It's really awesome. Well, hey, today it's just me and you, which is kind of fun.
Awkward.
And so we're covering an album. We'll get into it in just a little bit, but there's a little bit of controversy over the pick of this one. So I want to air out all the controversy. We're going to put the drama out on the table in just a little bit, but we are covering the self-titled album Third Day from the band Third Day. And so more to come on that. But first, let's check the mail.
Check the mail. Check the mail. Who, what, when, how, why? Check the mail.
All right, today we have a question from David who asked this. He says, you say your podcast is about the past, present, and future of Christian music. What do you think Christian music will be like in the next 10 to 20 years?
I thought that you were setting up for some complaint where it was going to be like, you say you do this, but false. And I was like, oh man, I wasn't ready for hate mail.
Again, we're just airing all the drama out
Yeah.
on air.
Today's the drama podcast.
Future of Christian music. What's Christian music going to look like in the next 10 to 20 years?
I think that we're moving towards like a new era, and I think you could arguably say it's the healthiest it's ever been. I feel like nowadays it's a lot easier to be independent. And I feel like a lot of times in the past it was record labels that, you know, it's easy to paint them as the bad guy, but these are bands that have sunk, you know, or labels $50,000 to $100,000 into this album. So like you want it to take off. So it's like, you know, if they know that you act a certain way and you can make sell 1 million copies of this, like at a certain point, it's like, are you selling out or are you just being smart? But I feel like nowadays it's like this podcast. We didn't have to sink $50,000 into equipment and soundproofing and like a location. Like, you know, I tell people nowadays that honestly, I feel like for $100 to $200, you could have a really good sounding like podcast.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
So I think that a lot of bands are able to have a little more freedom in that. So you're not really beholden to, we have to do this or that to make money. And I think music wise, you know, I think the only 2 5-stars I've given out so far are the albums that have came out in the past 2 years. And that's Grace Graber and Gable Price. And it's hard for me to find a band right now that's doing the stuff that, like, you know, they're doing out there. And the thing is, though, I say that, knowing that you could rifle off another like dozen, that you could say, no, Brandon, you forgot about these people. And I think that it's just a healthy place, that it's people that get to be humans. It's not them having to act a part. So for me, I think that we're moving towards a really healthy place in Christian music.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you. And I almost want to say like the best is yet to come, which is hard for a guy my age who is super nostalgic in all the feels. Like I want to go back, but I can't help but like look ahead and see that I think there is really good stuff ahead. That the sheer amount of artists now that are out there. I found out about several new artists this week that I've never even heard of before, or maybe I had, but I'd never really spent time listening. And you'd probably know what some of them are. Like, I spent time listening to a band called Hopeful. Somebody mentioned on our podcast before too long ago about a band named Witsit. And I saw that they were playing with Idle Threat for a show coming up. And so I'm like, I need to check that band out. And I'm like, oh, I really like this. And so I just feel like there's so many bands out there that are kind of rising up right now. And it's so much good stuff. And so, and you're right, like the time is right because anybody can release music and it's super easy and it just makes sense. And as we're seeing more people begin to do that, and we'll start seeing more touring and bands out on the road, and then that exposes even more kids to great music, and then they'll pick up a guitar and start writing songs. It's just a cycle that multiplies and feeds off of itself. And for whatever reason, it died for a little while, but I really see not just a new birth, but we're moving down the road at this point, and it's fun to see all that happen. So. Got to wear sunglasses because the future's bright. So excited about that. Well, don't forget, you guys can reach out to us with your own questions for the podcast at heyareyoullisteningpod@gmail.com, and we look forward to chatting about them on the air. Let's play a game.
Let's play. It's time to play a game. Let's play. It's time to play a game.
All right, Joel. So today we're covering Third Day's debut album.
Yep.
Which I don't know if you were aware of this, but it's the 30th anniversary of this album being released.
Oh, what great timing we have.
So to honor this, I wanted to also shout out some other things that are celebrating 30 years this year.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a list of things, and you tell me if these things were created 30 years ago or if, like, no. So just yes or no.
Okay. Got
All
it.
right.
Is this all music or just random things?
It's mostly music, but I threw it around a few other things
okay,
too.
Cool.
So first off, trees.
Trees.
Yeah.
Like the things that grow outside.
Yeah, you can find them in your average forest, some yards.
So the answer to this is going to be yes and no, because
Okay.
some of them were created 30 years ago, but many of them have been in existence longer than that.
I'll be honest, thinking of the most ridiculous one took more time than the whole game because I kept trying to think. I was like, how do I make it to where it's ridiculous and not some kind of trick question of, you mean the band tree? The show tree? All right.
One Tree Hill. Or,
Yeah.
there was a band with trees in the name. I can't think about that.
Tree 63.
Oh, yeah, that's one for sure.
All right. So let's throw out a band. Skillet. Do you think that Skillet was created? Skillet the band, not Skillet the cooking utensil. But Skillet the band, do you think that they formed in 1996?
I'm going to say, oh, man. I'm going to say,
I'm surprised you're a Skillet fanatic.
I'm going to say,
Is it a panhead is what they call their
I'm going
band?
to say no.
The answer is actually yes. They were formed in 1996.
I knew it was sometime right around in there, but because I did get their first record on Forefront, but I was thinking that's probably a little earlier for me. But oh well.
I honestly, I feel like for people who have followed them for a long time, they're going to think this is ridiculous to say. But I think that for a lot of people, Skillet begins with Comatose. And I think that some fans would say, no, their best stuff was, before that. But I think that even for me, like, I sometimes forget that there was stuff because I just remember that's when they really exploded in popularity.
Yeah, go listen to that first record. It's incredibly different from anything they made after.
Next up is Raising Cane's,
Oh man,
a Southern chicken tender
I appreciate you
joint.
bringing the fried chicken into this. It's been missing for a couple episodes. Watch your list like all be yes, but
That's what I did yesterday to Jordan, and I was like, yeah, I haven't came up with a nose yet.
I'm just gonna say yes.
That's true. Raising Cane's was opened in 1996.
Great fried chicken, people. Great.
Let's move back to a band, Small Town Poets. Was that band formed in 1996?
Like when their first album came out or formed?
Let me get, I believe formed.
Man.
Yeah, so we're going to go with formed. We're not going to go with first album.
I'll say yes.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Oh, that was. I guess it was the album is what I put on here because
Okay.
it was no, but then they were formed in 1990. So for a second, I was like, I got that question wrong.
I knew, yeah.
All right, next up, the Nintendo 64.
Okay. All right. I remember the first time I ever played a Nintendo 64.
Last week.
I was at a Disciple Now and was staying at my pastor's house, was our host for my group, and they had a Nintendo 64, and I played Mario 64 for the first time. And I was probably, I had just gotten my driver's license. Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
It was released in Japan in June 23rd, 1996, and North America on September 29th, 1996.
I love Nintendo. Yeah.
Next up, the band Phillips, Craig, and Dean.
Man. I'm going to say no to this one.
That's true. Do you have any guess about when year they were
I
formed?
think it was a little earlier than that, but I'm not entirely sure.
1991.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
All right. What about Audio Adrenaline's Bloom?
It's my favorite Audio Adrenaline record, and I'm going to say yes.
That's true.
Okay.
All right. Down to our final two. What about Go-Gurt? Yogurt you eat on the go.
I have no idea, but let's say yes.
Oh, that's not true.
When was Go-Gurt?
It was created in, I believe it was 1999.
I love that, like, you decided to put Go-Gurt on here.
I know so many people. Oh, it was lice or. Yeah, I think it was. I don't know. This is kind of confusing now reading it, but it was
Yeah.
1990. It was not 1996.
It probably was 96. Let's just say I got it right.
Yeah, we'll change some stuff around. I'll edit Wikipedia later. And the final one. What about the movie Space Jam?
No.
It was released.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's a random question for you, Joel, just off the top of your head. So, Space Jam, for those who haven't listened, the idea is that the Looney Tunes, they're challenged to a game of basketball, and they're going to like lose their town or land or whatever. And they have to recruit Michael Jordan to come help them.
Yep.
Who would you put in if someone was like, we're going to do a rival worship service, so you got to put on a Christian concert to rival us? What Christian artist do you think that Bugs, Daffy, and Porky Pig would come to Earth to recruit? Or who would you like to see star in that movie?
Oh my goodness. Today, sadly, it would be like Brandon Lake that would be in there. Man, I have no idea who they would come and recruit.
These are the kind of questions that that like as Andrew's listening, he's going to be like, "Oh, guys, I could." Here's all these answers on here.
Yeah, I mean,
who would you like to see? Like if you were in charge of that movie,
I would pick something very different, probably than what Daffy would pick. Wait, Daffy's right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Donald is the Disney one.
You just imagine going back in time and seeing Rich Mullins like interact with all the Looney Tunes.
Yeah. No, it's got to be the right person for sure. I
think that you could put like modern day. I think you could put Gable Price in, and I feel like he would get the idea of like, yeah, we can do these jokes and we can come up with some, or like a Grace Graber.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Idol
It'd be funny. Weezer did a Muppets video. It's a all-time classic. So yeah. I don't know. Grace Graber.
I feel like out of all the things we've joked about coming true, I feel like this is the one thing that you would be the most like upset to find out was that the Looney Tunes have to put on a Christian concert to save their town or whatever.
I don't know. It sounds a lot like the plot of the Muppet movie. So it's one of my favorite movies. So.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe.
But I love the Muppets. Not so much Looney Tunes. But
if Hollywood's listening out there, Joel would love to come on and help produce this Looney Tunes Christian spinoff.
I just hope, Brandon, you get, from all your brilliant ideas out there, that you get some kind of cutback on this stuff because... man,
I'm still waiting for those royalties from Skillet's Christmas one.
They lost all that from all the angry fans. So
yeah. Once you start, what was crazy to me is that's such a good example of you hear all this stuff about it and you go and listen and you're like, I mean, we've shared on here neither one of us is like, oh, like we can't stand Skillet, but neither one of us is like, oh, you got to check out the new Skillet album. But I was like, there's nothing on here that I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely the devil trying to like come through the song.
We probably have a little bit different perspectives than a lot of people, though. I'm sure that many people would feel the same way about Me Without You. So
that's true. Ooh, that's an Aaron Wise and Looney Tunes. I
wasn't going there. But
if that opened, Joel, I would be. If the first showing was at 8, I'd be there at 7:30.
Okay. Would you spend the night to buy your tickets?
If the merch was available. I don't know the last time you went to a movie theater, but they've moved now towards they will have merch for movies in there, like t-shirts and hats.
Well, the popcorn bucket thing is huge now.
If there's a Me Without You popcorn bucket,
Me Without You / Looney Tunes.
I'm calling and saying, hey, I got to take a vacation day. I'd be like, I don't know how to explain it. I tell you, I need Thursday off.
I can't get into the whole popcorn bucket thing because I'm like, where am I putting that in my house? Those things are huge. I don't have room for that. I don't know. I'm like, do people who buy these things, where do they like display these on top of their kitchen cabinets or something?
I feel like Disney does a good job because their popcorn ones, like you can like put them up. Like we got I think it's Mr. Toad one a couple of years ago. And
it's on display proudly.
Yeah, it's all of our treasures. It's on the mantle.
I love it. All right, Brandon, thanks for that that was enlightening. So let's talk about what we've been listening to lately. Mm-hmm. What have you been listening to lately?
One thing I've been listening to is one of the bands that I mentioned in our game, Small Town Poets. They released a EP last year called St. Augustine, and I haven't really went back and dove back into like their like older stuff, but I've been listening to that EP, and I feel like it still just holds up. And it was like, there was just so many good artists that I discovered last year. Yeah. And I think that EP definitely falls into the category of like, it doesn't get the attention like it deserves.
Yeah.
But I feel like
see that. It's hard for a lot of these acts that have been around for a long time, 30 years.
Yeah.
Right? To still be putting out music that people are paying attention to, unless you're like a pretty hardcore fan.
Yeah.
And so it's cool for you, like as a new fan, that's like your entry point, because I feel like that doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
For some of these artists. So yeah, I was a big fan of the first Small Town Poets record. It was self-titled. That came out on the Forefront, and it sounded like a Gin Blossoms record, and I was super into the Gin Blossoms, and so I'm like, there's my Christian Gin Blossoms. And when my youth pastor made me destroy my secular Gin Blossoms CD, I had my Small Town Poets CD to listen to instead. So I've been listening to something that Cameron from Tooth and Nail News mentioned to us, that Tooth and Nail's newest signee to the label is an artist named Gracie.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to her stuff. I saw that she's going out on tour with Strings and Heart. I think they're on the road now as we speak together. She's the opening act, and her stuff's really good. It's punk rock, like think like a Grace Graber, but probably like a little like edgier, like less mainstream.
Yeah.
But like really solid like melodies and super creative.
Yeah.
And so I've been enjoying that to the point where she just announced her first record coming out on Tooth and Nail, Misfortunately. And I pre-ordered that thing on vinyl because it's good.
That's really
the songs
cool.
are really good. And so, yeah, I highly encourage you and anybody go check out her stuff. She's like from the ground up, and her stuff's really good. So it's good stuff. Gracie, Misfortunately. So, all right, so let's transition and talk about what we're here to talk about today. Third Day by Third Day. All right, I'll give us a quick bio for this record. So the self-titled debut album Third Day by Third Day was originally released independently in 1996 on Grey Dot Records before being picked up and re-released in 1997 by Reunion Records. Produced by Sam Taylor, the album captures a raw, Southern rock-influenced sound paired with bold, worship-driven lyrics. Fronted by Mac Powell, the band built momentum through relentless touring with standout tracks like Nothing at All, Blackbird, and Thief, helped them gain a national audience. The record laid the groundwork for Third Day's rise as one of the most influential bands in modern Christian rock. I remember listening to this album when it was released on Grey Dot before it came out on Reunion. And Reunion was one of the big players in Christian music. I'm not even sure if any of these labels still exist, but Grey Dot was a Georgia label, based out of Atlanta, I think, and they had a subsidiary label called Bulletproof, that was like a Tooth and Nail kind of label. Bands like Squad 5-0, Dear Ephesus, man, I don't know. I listened to a lot of Bulletproof bands back in the day, and they were kind of like a little less known label like Tooth and Nail, and some of their bands went on to be on Tooth and Nail, but Grey Dot was like the more mainstream label, and then Bulletproof was the kind of more edgier label. But I remember listening to this And like Southern rock was like kind of a big deal in the 90s. There were bands that were coming out that had this sound or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so to have a Christian band that sounded like this, but like kind of I want to say like edgier, like not afraid to like have loud guitars and stuff, band doing it was a pretty unique thing. And this is like their first, it's interesting now going back and listening to a record like this, knowing everything that we know about Third Day and letting this be like listening to it in the context of everything else that you know about Third Day, but trying to listen to an album like this with fresh ears, like you had never heard anything that came later from this band. It's probably a hard thing to go back and do. But I loved this album when it came out. It was super influential for me. And I remember seeing them live as they were touring this record. And man, this was such a good album. And they really did, through I think spending a lot of time touring, build what became kind of a fan base that then got launched out into the mainstream eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this is a big one for me. What about for you?
Well, real fast. So when you mentioned, like, is it still around? Reunion Records, it was sold to Zomba Records in 1996. Then it was like kind of like consolidated into Sony Music.
Okay.
And now it falls under Provident label group.
That makes sense.
And they have such artists as Ben Fuller, Brandon Lake, Casting Crowns. So you might have heard a few of them.
I'm pretty sure that Michael W. Smith was on Reunion. So that gives you a image of like that label.
Yeah. So for me, Third Day, I discovered them kind of with the release of Wire, because it was like, I Believe, Rockstar. So I discovered there, and I followed them a little bit after that. So for the next, like, I don't know, 5 years or something, like I was pretty big in the Third Day. And I remember a few years ago, I kind of went back and tried to listen to some of their older stuff, and I just couldn't get into it. So for me today is kind of an opportunity to go back and be like, man, this is something that 10 years ago I really was not like enjoying, and kind of just an opportunity to dive in more. Because I don't know if for you it's the same way, but like if someone tells me an artist to check out, like if there's 10 songs in front of me and the first 2 are not really tracking, I'm probably just going to say, yeah, this band's not for me. Like, you're not going to sit down for an hour.
Right.
Like John Rubin, you wouldn't sit down and say, well, I'll listen to 6 albums and then I'll decide if I like him or not. And I think with stuff like this, it's cool because, no, you have to sit down. So it's like I might sit there and just do not like the first 5 tracks. But then come track 6, and I'm like, man, the second half of this is incredible. So for me, it was an album that hasn't really stayed with me or something I really like enjoyed diving into, but it's an opportunity to kind of rediscover and see with new ears how I feel about it.
So to get the drama out in front of us, Brandon, you came to me with the idea of covering a Third Day record, and you said, "What about if we do Wire?" And I'm just gonna be honest with you, I've never listened to that album before, but I'm like, "Oh, we could do their self-titled," because I spent so much time with this, and then I'm probably realizing you've probably never sat down and listened to this one all the way through before. So we're probably like in similar boats, just as to when their music hit us. And so you had the idea then of saying, what if we put out a poll for people to let the people decide and pick like which is the one that we're going to cover? So what happened?
I thought all of our friends were going to be on my side, but I felt like it's like we're playing kickball and everyone joined on your side. And so I'm just over there being like, oh, Rockstar's pretty good. But then there's just you and 6 other just really strong athletes behind you. So everyone, it was unanimous. There's never been a more unanimous post on our page of people just forming and saying, yeah, we're gonna choose the first one. Why are these other 2 on here? Question mark. So yeah, everyone just, and I wanted to comment and be like, listen guys, if you want there to be a really positive episode, you want to go with Wire. If you choose the debut one, I don't know what's going to happen. But you can't say that. And so today, our fans, our friends, have chosen to do the debut album. So the next 30 minutes, whatever happens, it's on your
on
hands. Yeah.
I think you have to take some responsibility for this, Brandon. It was your idea to cover Third Day. It was your idea to put it out there on social media.
I should have just put my foot down and said, no, Joel, we're going to do this one. But, all joking aside, like I say it all the time. I love getting to like find new artists and rediscover artists.
Yeah.
And I think that like there have been albums on here that like I might give a super like low rating, but like I like enjoy diving into it, or I've discovered new stuff. And I will say with Third Day, like I think what's good and bad about it is that like for me it's kind of hard to separate what they went on to become. So for me, some of the stuff like might suffer a little bit because I'm like, oh man, I'm used to Third Day after, 10 years after performing.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just cool to kind of sit there and be like, man, I can kind of see already the groundwork that was being laid where like, they're trying this and that out. And like, man, track 5 is what they went on to, dive into.
Right.
So for me, like I feel like other than maybe during Christmas time, every album we've reviewed on here has been exciting to dive into.
I was explaining to you earlier that I think the reason that everybody like sided with me in this is one, a lot of them are the same age as me, and so this was their intro to this band, and but two, I'll throw myself under the bus a little bit. I think that they're also probably sort of music snobs like me, and when you're like into more like edgy tooth and nail kind of stuff, and there's a band like Third Day comes and exists, I'm listening to them at the same time as I start listening to bands like MXPX or whatever it may be. And so for me, their debut record was like edgy enough, and like not polished enough.
Yeah.
To where I'm like, oh yeah, I like this. This is cool. But then as they become more mainstream, it's like, I'm probably not going to listen to them anymore. It's a little too like radio for me. And I just think there were probably a lot of us that were in that boat, and probably that's how everybody felt, which is why they put this album versus like a later album.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's interesting with perspective. Like, it's cool because when you say that, in my mind, I'm like, oh no, like they didn't get mainstream until like 2010. Then that's when they got main. So like, to me, it's interesting to be like, like we were talking beforehand, like Toby Mac. And I was like, if you go to listen to Momentum, that album is completely different. And for a lot of Toby Mac's career, like, he was kind of this almost like, people are going to laugh when I say this, but it's almost like the bad boy, where it was like, okay, you can let some of his songs on here, but we can't put the stuff that's like dealing with like this heavier stuff, or where there's like rapping or something. And like, it's funny because that's Toby Mac he was this gateway into people who are not defined by a genre. Like Me Without You is not, here's the one word we use to describe their music. It's like, no, they're their thing. And I know like for you, there's a lot of ones that you're not like, I can't tell you this band is just rock because they're not rock. They are whatever. And, so yeah, I think that's interesting for me to go back and, cause honestly, I feel like for me, I don't see this album as being edgy. So I feel like if we ranked it, I would probably say like, man, this was probably when they got famous because things are really like safe on it. And so I feel like it's I don't know. I know we need to dive into it, but I think it's just so interesting that the like perspectives can be so different on albums.
I agree with you, and it's hard to kind of escape that stuff. Mm-hmm. Although I will disagree with your point about 2010, because I think when their first worship record, Offerings, came out, it's probably the point they became super mainstream in 2000. So I don't know. But
See, if Mac Powell's listening,
we'll see. All right, well, let's dig into this. We'll kind of walk through it track by track, get some thoughts from each other.
all right.
So this album opens up with the song Nothing at All. What do you think about that one, Brandon?
I like the energy. I remembered when I sat down and listened to this, I remember thinking this album is so like boring when I tried to listen to it back in the day. And I felt like at the beginning I was like, oh wow, I don't remember it being like this, like kind of like going. And I was like, man, I like this. Like I'm excited to dive into this because I thought every song was going to be like slow or like very like worshipy.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed the energy of it. I think that it was too long because it tracks in, I think, right at 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes and 9 seconds. And I feel like as an opener, you want to be left with like more. And I remember thinking, okay, like this, we're already 5 minutes, and now we're moving to the next track. So for me, I really like. I don't think it's a bad song. I think just at the beginning, it's like, it's almost like you've been served like 5 pounds of fries as your appetizer. And you're like, oh, I wanted some fries, but like I need to save room for my salad or whatever.
Yeah. I did think it was interesting that as the album went on, the songs got shorter, which I feel like is usually the opposite of a record. So I noticed that kind of too. I do like this song a lot. I like that the album starts out with like feedback, which is a very like rock and roll thing to do.
Yeah.
I doubt there's another Third Day album that starts out with feedback, guitars feedbacking. And so I thought that was cool. I like the big guitars kind of in the beginning. The dropout with the vocals on and on and on.
Yeah.
I can just remember why when I was listening to this, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like this. And so I do think it's a cool, a kind of a cool moment. And then, I like how like on verse 2, like the melody line goes up from where it is on verse 1. There's just a lot of things that I like.
Yeah.
Obviously there's the whole scripture thing from James, which is probably one of the main reasons that this track goes on as long as it does. But that does speak to something on this album that we can kind of get into as we go on. But I will say that I feel like listening to this now, the lyrics are a little like on the nose for me. It's just like really plain, like plainly Christian.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of I want to say like depth, because obviously the messages are all good, but it's missing like a little bit of heart, and it's just kind of like, here's some Christian lyrics. This one thing that just kind of struck me like going on from it. So
Well, next we move to Forever. Joel, did you feel like Forever lifted your spirits or no?
I think that this is one of my favorite songs on the record. I'm not sure how you felt about it, but I like the the guitar tones that are there, and the like lead line that's happening. It reminds me a lot of the '90s, like something that would be coming out at this time.
Yeah.
Like some mainstream bands like the Spin Doctors, the Counting Crows, like bands like that that were really popular at that time. And it made me like I wrote down like one thing about this record in 1996 is you can't say about this that it's like behind the times for
Yeah.
what's happening in mainstream secular music, but it's happening at the same time. And so this album may not be like groundbreaking in that they're beating the secular marketplace to doing a style of music, but they're doing it at the very same time that it's happening out there. And I thought that that's cool. Like this sounds like something that would have played on mainstream radio in the 90s. And I love the drop that happens in verse 3. It's got a great chorus. This song, there's just not much that I don't like about it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I liked it too. I feel like it follows well, and it's like it's a good track. I think the length of the track is what kind of like
This one comes in under 4 minutes.
well, that's what I made a note that I feel like I've been here for 9 minutes and I've only heard 2 songs, and so it was just such an so like earlier this morning when we were kind of talking, I was like, to me it's interesting how there's some albums that's like, oh man, there's a lot that I don't like about it. Then there's other albums that I'm like, man, if they just changed, like if they just made 2 changes, I feel like it's like it jumps from like say a 3 to like a 4.5 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, as we go on, we see that songs get shorter. I feel as though if you would have started off with like maybe one of those 2-minute tracks, and then you jump into like Nothing at All, or if you threw that in kind of in the middle, or did like a little instrumental, I just remember thinking like, man, it's already been like I feel like I forget what the album clocks in at, but it's like I felt like, oh, I've already spent a lot of time with this album and I've only gotten like 2 tracks so far, which I mean, I feel like that's more of like reviewing the album itself versus like a track by track thing.
Yeah.
But I remember just kind of thinking like, man, that really is interesting that you're starting off with 2 like longer tracks. Not that the tracks were bad. It's just something that like stood out to me.
Yeah. I don't have a vendetta against long tracks.
No.
And so for me, like, I didn't even think about that. If anything, when we got to the end and there's like 2-minute songs, I'm like, why are there 2-minute songs on here? Like, you can't even do anything in 2 minutes. So I feel like that's just part of a difference between you and I. Like, that part doesn't bother me. As long as, I will say, some songs feel too long because there's not a change in dynamics or nothing's changing up. And I think they do a good job of changing things up in their songs. There's none of them that really felt like stale, there's always bridges. You know, there's change ups happening.
Yeah.
So I never got stuck feeling like it was too long. All right, track 3 is Mama. What do you think about Mama?
I think the album picks up with this. I like the storytelling. I like that it's kind of like a little all over the place. Because I feel like the knock on Christian music usually is it's like you find this person that's like really broken and sad, but then they find Jesus and everything's good. And I feel like this song was kind of like, oh, okay, we're like by the end of it, it's like, oh, I don't know if this guy is gonna get like find Jesus and be saved, or if it's gonna be
Well, but he said he did.
Huh?
He said he did.
Well, he does, but like listening to the track, it's like
Gotcha.
it's like, man, I don't know if this is gonna resolve itself, or if it's a track that ends with, yep, this guy, you'll threw away everything to chase the world or whatever. And so I liked that. I feel like there wasn't this predictability of like, oh, I know what's going to happen in this. So I feel like from a storytelling like standpoint, I liked it. And I felt like at the end of this track, there was this like shift that I wasn't sitting there thinking like, oh, okay, now we're up to 13 minutes and I've only heard 3. Like, it was a track that I was like, man, that was a good track. So I felt like on track 3, it shifted to, that was a good song, not a, all right, we need to speed it up. We only got so much tape left of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this song, but it's not one of my favorite songs on the record. I don't really know how to point what to. The bridge is really interesting because there's a lot of musicality, random stuff happening on the bridge, and a lot of it I like. One thing that I struggle with on this album is that I feel like they run the vocals through different effects on every song, and it makes the record not sound cohesive at all. And on the bridge, they like have this weird filter on his voice, but then they're also panning the voice from left to right. It's moving constantly over the bridge, and I just found it super distracting. However, I did like there's like a fade in from that to like his normal voice that happens that I thought was cool. But I'm like, I don't need 2 vocal effects. Like, put him in a tunnel or pan him, but don't put him in a tunnel and pan him. Like, it just felt a little bit like overkill for me. But I liked everything that was happening musically around it.
Yeah.
And I felt like if they just had his voice on top of what's happening, then I would really be into it. But I think they were just almost trying too many things, if that makes sense.
I wonder, like, you know, not really knowing the context of it. I read where people said, yeah, Mac was kind of finding his voice or getting confident. I wonder at the time if, like, that was a thing from, like, the label. Like, if they were kind of like, oh, man, like, we need to, like, fix this. Because I feel like when I think of Third Day, and I think that the majority of people, if you mention Third Day, they go, oh, that guy with the cool, like, Southern, like, voice. And I mean, I was saying earlier, I felt like if you're a Christian music fan, like, growing up, you would sing your version of, like, Kevin Max, Mac Powell, and then maybe like a screaming, like someone that like screamed or yelled in their music. And I feel like it was such a like iconic thing of Third Day that with this album, it is kind of interesting being like, yeah, like it's not him really pushing like on it as much, I guess, like, you know, but like I said, I don't know if that's like a band thing or if that's the record label or where that's coming from.
I don't think Grey Dot Records would have given Mac Powell a lot of notes on his vocals. Reunion might have later, but they were kind of stuck with like, this is the album. Yeah. We have to release it.
Yeah.
I think there might have been a few minor changes from the Grey Dot version to the Reunion version, but I don't think that they were like very significant.
Yeah.
And so I think it's probably like we're a band figuring out who we are, and we're just going to try a lot of things and see what sticks.
Yeah.
And so part of what I like about the album is we're going to try a lot of stuff. But I think because of that, like not all of it's going to hit or work well. So yeah.
All right. Next one is Love Song.
Yeah. So Love Song is one of the big songs off the record. You mentioned earlier thinking about this album as in like quiet, chill songs that are like worshipy. And so this might be what you're thinking of, thinking about that. But this was like a really big song when it came out. I like the acoustic work a lot. There's another vocal effect on his voice that's weird. Like it doesn't work on the song. And I don't know why they would do it. Just like let his voice be there. You don't have to cage it in something. And I don't think it serves the song really weird. But I think it's a really good song. It's got a great melody. It's super simple. But it does what it came to do. And so it's just a love song from Jesus to us. So it's simple, but I think it's effective for the most part.
Earlier, I made a a comment to you. I was like, I wonder, like, when you're listening, if I say, man, I loved or I hated a song, like, which one comes to mind? I think this song is incredible. I think this song is it's one of my top 4 favorite Third Day songs of all time.
Awesome.
I think I would go so far as to, like, if I was sitting down and making a list of, like, even top 50 songs I've ever heard, I think this song would probably be the representative from, like, Third Day to make it onto there. I love this song. I think that I first heard it back in high school. So I'm thinking probably at least 15 years ago or so. And I feel like I still get chills when I hear it.
Yeah.
I think that it, I guess, like, in my mind, I kind of saw it differently, where I feel like his voice, this made me feel like more of like who Third Day would become. So for me, I don't know, maybe that's just because, like, I've seen it live and that's what I see it
You're
as.
hearing it that way.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, they do this thing where they like put him in a tunnel vocally, and he, like, his voice doesn't sound present with the guitar that's there.
Yeah.
Because the guitar is not doing the same thing. And so they feel
I gotcha.
disconnected.
I get what you're saying.
If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something going back and listening to. I feel like it's going to be interesting, kind of like hearing
Sorry
it
if I
from that
ruin
one.
it for you.
I'm going to sit there later on. I'd be like, don't it's going to be like, don't listen to Joel. You're amazing the way you are. But yeah, I think this is, and honestly, like, listening, I was excited to get to this song because I was like, oh, this is familiar. But yeah, I think this was, like, incredible. And it was weird because I saw that some people, like, didn't even list this as, like, one of the top songs.
Oh yeah. No, I
And
think it definitely is.
It was weird because I feel like looking at these songs, this was, like, the one that I'm like, I recognize off the album. But yeah, I think that this is like one of the highlights of the album for me.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I love it. The only thing that I don't like about it is that vocal effect.
Tunnel.
But I think the rest of it works super well. So
There's a song by there called "The Light at the End of the Tunnel." So
yeah, maybe they were coming out.
hopefully
of,
there's a light. Maybe they were referring to this album. That's actually, yeah.
All right, track 5, Blackbird. Brandon, what did you think about Blackbird?
I like it a lot.
Blackbird.
I think that it was really interesting, like, coming out of, like, Love Song. And I feel like for me, this is where the album started picking up some momentum because, like I said, with Mama, I was like, there was nothing about Time. I was just like, oh, that's a good song. And then Love Song, I'm like, this is awesome. And I think Blackbird does a really good job of, like, coming off of, like, Love Song. So yeah, I think it's really good. I like the lyrics of it. I think that it's, like we said, some of the songs are very much just like surface stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like with this song, it is kind of like
Yeah.
bouncing around. Like the lyric that goes, Blackbird, who put you in your cage? Tell me, was it God or was it you or was it me? And I'm just like, it really, like, stuck with me. I was like, man, I think that's that's really cool to kind of think about it. Yeah. And I don't know, I think with 90s Christian, a lot of times I think, like, you had people who were really asking questions, but a lot of it was kind of like, there's two sides, like, we're on Jesus' side and you're the enemy, like, type of thing.
Right.
And I appreciate artists that kind of be like, am I part of the problem? Like, you might not be, but I think that as people, that's healthy to look and be like, hey, did I make the situation, before calling that person wrong? Like,
Right.
Am I in the wrong on this?
Yeah. No, I think this song is a highlight on this record. For sure. I like this one a lot. The Southern rock on it is just real, and it's there, and it's great. There's a great guitar solo. And I think you're right. This is one of the songs that I appreciate the lyrics on a lot because I actually had to like type in what does the song Blackbird by Third Day mean. And so I'm like, thank you. Like it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
There's some mystery, right? And some people say that it's a song inspired by but written to like the Black Crowes, which is kind of an interesting like thing to think through, the band the Black Crowes. But whatever it is, it's like a song of compassion to someone who's struggling with faith
Yeah.
and belief, and I love that about
Yeah.
it. And so, funny thing is, this song reminded me of another band that was out at the same time called Drive, Dryve, on 5 Minute Walk, that has a really similar kind of Southern rock sound. But they're phenomenal band. One of my favorites. They have a record called Thrifty Mr. Kickstar that is unbelievable. But I love this. I love this song. I love the hits in it. It's just dynamically, it's a great song.
Yeah.
And it works really well. And I agree with you. I think it's well placed here with Coming After Love Song.
Next is Thief. Did this song rob you of your joy, or were you excited?
So I remember this song really well from back in the day, but I haven't listened to it in probably 20 years. And so when the piano came in, I'm like, yep, there it is. I feel it. And I think there's good in this song. Like there's an epicness kind of to it.
Yeah.
They're telling a story. What was it like to be a thief on the cross? But then there's the part of me that says like, I feel like this song would be in an Easter pageant. And I like sort of struggle with it because of that. And so I literally wrote down in my notes, is this too on the nose for Brandon? So I can't wait to find out. But like, even with what it is, and that it's probably a song that I would hear in an Easter pageant or on the Chosen. I don't know. I'm like, I think I'm still like here for it, but I don't think that it hit me like as well as it probably did back in the day, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think for me, that I think it was too close to Love Song. Like, I think, like you said, the epicness as it goes on, it gets better and better.
Yeah.
Like with it. But I think with it just being so close to it, it like took away, because I felt like I think for me, as someone who thinks Love Song is like this very epic, like emotional thing, I feel like, I don't know, like it's one of those few things that I think that it improves the album if you move Thief to, I don't know, maybe the end of the album, or if you put
Bold choice.
a couple of tracks like separating it.
Yeah.
But I think, I know, I think with albums, it's tough. I think that you either need to have like an album that everything is like emotional and you expect that, or you need to kind of like pick and choose and have like track 3, track 7, track 10. Because for me, it's like, okay, we're going this groove, and I feel like Thief is like, all right, we're back to, I felt like we were about to shift into fourth gear, and now we're right back down to first gear, like with it. So yeah, I feel like I think it's a really good song. I think it just suffers that it's so close to Love Song for me.
Yeah.
Like if it made, instead of me appreciating it, I felt like it was just kind of like a relative of Love Song. Like it's the B option, like of it.
Yeah. There's a lot of drama in this song. And so, I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, to be honest with you. I'm still kind of wrestling with and struggling through that. But track 7, Brandon, Consuming Fire. This is what I think is the most popular song on the album, or at least it was at the time. What'd you think about Consuming Fire?
I think it was good. I think the album picks back up. I could definitely see why people think that it's like a highlight track of the album. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm going back to look. At least on Apple Music, it is the top song off of this album today. So
I thought you were going to say top song of like all of them. And I was like, oh, wow.
no, it's not that. But yeah, I like this one still, probably as much as I liked it back then. So I think for me, this one sits up there with Forever as like probably my two favorite songs on the record. This is like a worship song.
Yeah.
So this is where the whole like third day worship thing kicks in, but it works really well with just the style of music that they're doing. The intro's great. There's a moment where there's like a like a drum break, and then the guitars just kick in like really big, and it's just done super well. I can tell, like, man, they spent time on this song, like putting it together. I feel like everything about it works really well, and it's this is a really good song. So I'm here for it.
Next track, Did You Mean It? Joel, did you like it? And do you mean it?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Did You Mean It? Like, it sounds like a U2 song, starting out with the delayed guitars. It's a sound that's like popular in like worship music a little bit after this time, and so it sounds like them kind of leaning into that world a little bit through this. I think the lyrics are like a little on the nose. I don't know, you would know better, like with later Third Day records, but he does a lot of this like really fast singing on this album. And this is like another example of him just like cramming a bunch of words into like a short amount of time. And I think sometimes that works, but I think like a song like Love Song, where he like slows down and gets the words out, is probably like works better for him vocally than trying to cram a bunch of things in at once. And so not my favorite song on the record, but it's fine.
Gotcha. For me, I felt like it was kind of just there for me. I saw where someone said that this had like the elements of what Third Day would become. And I think I want to make sure I quote, this could have, I think it was Jesus Freak Hideout, because I don't want to steal stuff like from the review. And I remember being like, man, I feel like that really kind of captures this. And I think that this is a song that if it was re-recorded, or like if I heard it today, then perform it live, I feel like it gets better because of like the confidence they have, you know, or the kind of the music they were able to carve out to where it's like, you know, yeah, this is the traditional Third Day sound, not, hey, we're a band, like we find out about Third Day. Like, I feel like this is a track that gets, it would be better now if this album was re-recorded today. I think this is a track that definitely gets better and lifted up from like what Third Day would become.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. That's interesting for me, not having listened to a lot of their later stuff, because I'm like, did they move into a like U2 direction? Because this just sounds like a U2 song.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Be interesting to see. Track number 9 is Holy Spirit. Brandon, what'd you think about Holy Spirit?
Joel, I need you to share your thoughts on this track before I share my thoughts. Because I need to know how to word what I'm going to say.
Oh, my goodness. So this is a short song. So I don't know if you're going to like it because it's 2 minutes and 23 seconds or not. I will say off bat that this is my least favorite song on the album.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything for me. There's like a vocal break that I feel like is like kind of cool, but that's like the only note that I have.
Okay.
Honestly. So
I need everyone to know that going back to our conversation, like the people that requested the album, they are responsible for this. I'm about to throw out a take on this. Okay. My note on this was, 90s music. Am I right? And then I put down, I prefer Got to Be True over this.
Well, you loved Got to Be True, so duh.
I think throwing it out for you, if I was to say you got to listen to one of these tracks, I don't know, like for an hour in the car or for a day, or you have to get the lyrics, like, I don't know, like these two tracks, if you're weighing them, which one are you?
Holy Spirit or Got to Be True?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'd probably pick Got to Be True.
Okay.
But like I said, the song doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I think this song is a symptom of an issue that a lot of albums have, in that, like, this album didn't need 12 songs.
Yeah.
And this song doesn't need to be on it. And if it's not on it, it's a better album.
Yeah.
It just doesn't add anything at all.
Yeah, I think, I mean, like all jokes aside, I think that that's a really good point in this, in that if you, like, I mean, honestly, if you were to take off maybe my least two favorite songs on here, I feel like that, I feel like the songs drag down more than some of the songs pull it up. Like a love song I love, and I'm like, man, that lifts everything up. But I think that some of the tracks, it's like, you know, when I go to review it, I'm going to think like, yeah, like decent song, amazing song, good song, great song. Oh, this song, like it, I don't know. I feel like it pulls down the average a lot.
Yeah.
And that's something really interesting, because I feel like I used to hate when albums, I'm like, it has to be at least 10 songs. If it's 9 songs, that's really bad. But now thinking about it, like last year, there were EPs that, like, the top 2 albums I had were both EPs. And I feel like I never would have done that. But going through them, I was like, everything is perfect about these. Like everything about this I love. So I feel like that's a really interesting point to think, like, not even like you have to replace it with something, but no, like, why can't we just have 11 tracks or 10 tracks on this album?
We need the Holy Spirit, but we don't need the song Holy Spirit. So that's all I've got to say.
So next track, I can go first, as I made you go first with Holy Spirit, but Living for Jesus. It goes back to something you said earlier, is that I see both sides of a song like this, because I really like to search through lyrics. But a song like this has everything on the surface. Whereas I know people who are like, I don't want to have to research. I just want to hear a song and be like, yeah, that song's about how much Jesus loves me. Good to go. Not, oh, I wrestled with this song for 3 hours and then I found out that the secret behind it is that Jesus actually loves me. I just had to look up who these, like a Me Without You song, I have to look up who these 10 people are, than what these 30 words over here mean, you know? So it's like I go back and forth, because I feel like the way that you kind of paint the album, or I guess how I interpret it, was that this was kind of like less mainstream, and this was their kind of like rebel album or whatever. Like, to me, it's like, oh, well, I think that song suffers more. But then I think for me, like, it's not as bad of a song, because I guess I don't see this album as a, like, I don't see it as, man, this was like the top of the mountain for it. I see it as more of, yeah, they're throwing out stuff to kind of be like, what fits? Like, who is Third Day gonna be? So I think for me, it's example of like, okay, here's more of a, yeah, you listen to this and you got what we're saying. Not, you know, you look at a Blackbird. Whereas for me, I love that, because like you said, you got to Google, what does this mean? Yeah. But I think that there's a lot of fans out here that would be like, I don't like the Weird Bird song. I like the Living for Jesus song, you know? Yeah. So.
Yeah. I think we're on the same page here. One of my notes was like, they probably grew lyrically after this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they probably did. And I do like, so if Blackbird is a a lean in a direction that's coming for Third Day. It'd be interesting for me to go back and listen to like Conspiracy Number 5 after this and
Yeah.
see like what was the transition from here to here. I'm guessing that the production's better and the songs are probably a little crisper and cleaner, but the lyrics are probably better. And so I just don't really remember. A thing that I loved about this album is just kind of like the rawness of it, not necessarily like lyrically, but just kind of musically, and it fit with a lot of the like secular stuff that I was listening to at the time.
Yeah.
And so it just fell in a really good place for me at that point in time. But yeah, this song again, there's something about these 2-minute songs at the end that like, again, I'm like, I feel like I could just kind of do without it.
Yeah.
And I don't really need it to be there. So it wasn't one of my favorite tracks. Track 11, Take My Life. What'd you think about that, Brandon?
I think so I see where you're coming from with like, man, did we need these 2-minute songs? And I think for me, I think that this is one I would keep, but I would move closer to the top to kind of like have it spaced out a little bit more up there. Because I feel like it's just weird that you have this like long. Then at the end you have this like short.
Yeah.
I feel like it just helps. I'm trying to think of the album that we covered recently, but I remember being like, man, that was so good. Because if this was a concert, that would have been really good to have this song, and then you have this like 2-minute song that kind of is just this fun whatever, and then we hit back into the like a more of a like not higher quality song, but you get what I'm saying.
for sure.
And I think for this one, it would have been like good, because I just feel like it's like when we're choosing songs for our grade school ministry at church, I'm a big believer in that you have to have one song that is fun, and then you have to have another song that is more like worshipful or is 4 minutes long. But I feel like if you do 2 5-minute songs, I feel like you lose the kids.
Yeah.
Like after when the second song comes on, they're already like, I'm done with this. So I feel like you have to have like a mixture with that, or because it defeats the purpose if by the second song they're not listening.
Yeah, so this is my favorite of the 2-minute songs
Yeah.
on here. And so I think it works. And even though it's really simple and the lyrics are simple, there's something about this one that like, I believe it when I hear him sing it.
Yeah.
And it just it's not just let's rattle off a lot of like Jesus stuff,
Yeah.
but I feel like this is something that's like coming from
Yeah.
in his heart. And so I'm in because it feels genuine. It feels authentic.
Yeah.
It feels real. And so, yeah, I like this one. I
Mm-hmm.
get the like placement maybe, but I think if maybe a couple of those other songs weren't there,
Yeah.
then it might work better where it is too. So
And then finally, praise song. How do you feel about praise song?
well, praise song, I think is good. It's the Rich Mullins song on the record because it starts out with a hammered dulcimer. And so they totally got that from Rich Mullins. And yeah, it's good. It's great. It works well. There's like this whole choir thing going on in the background, which actually like fits. And there's some of that like throughout the record.
Yeah.
But I like doing that at the end because it
Yeah.
does feel like it's almost like if I was seeing them live and they brought out this like gospel choir to
Yeah.
join them for the last song.
Yeah.
It feels like it would work really well.
Yeah.
And so I think it works really well as like a closer for the record with that because it just amps like the fun and the energy up a little bit
Yeah.
in some good ways. And yeah, I think this song's up there for me too when it comes to this record as one of my favorites and a good way to close.
Yeah, I think it worked really well as an ending. I thought about, could you swap it out? But like you said, I feel like I don't know, like you can't really follow that up with like a sadder like song or whatever. And I
Yeah.
feel like if you throw like Blackbird in, it feels really weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it was an ending and a good ending. If I say just an ending,
It was an ending. It ended.
and I remember too, like, so like I'm listening to this and the next song hits and it's like, you know, like off another Third Day album. And I remember thinking, oh, the album's like already done. So I feel like it was so different that like at the beginning of the album, it's like, okay, like we're already like I've barely listened to it and I've already sank in all this time to at the end, like, oh, it's already finished. So it was this weird, like, I don't know, it's a weird feeling that I feel like the first little bit of the album felt like it's like, all right, we need to move along. Then it's like, oh, the time's already out. So I feel like it's a good ending to an album when you're like, oh, it's already over. Not, oh, thank goodness. Like, you know.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I think it works well. Let's kind of give our closing thoughts on this, and I can go first, Brandon, just to
That's good.
save you. But so again, this was a big record for me in 1996. I was a junior in high school, and it just hit at the right space because of some of my favorite bands that I was listening to. Sounded like this, and so I really was enjoying this a lot when it came out, and then they got picked up by like a major label in the Christian music industry, and it got released again, probably like remastered even.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I probably picked it up twice, you know.
Yeah.
And just for the differences that are there, and enjoyed it, and but I haven't listened to it in, it's probably been 20 years, right? And so going back and picking it up, you hear with fresh ears, like what works in it and what doesn't work. And I do think that there's a lot that works still really well. And a lot of things that I loved about it back then, I think I still enjoyed for sure about it now. But probably some of the like just on the noseness of it makes me struggle with it a little more. Just give me some mystery.
Yeah.
Give me some heart. You know, a little more than just kind of plainness. And I just think the album's a little bloated. Like,
Yeah.
I could cut 2 songs and not miss them, and I think it'd be such a solid record
Yeah.
if that was the case. And so, but with all those things, I still really enjoyed getting to revisit it and dig back into it again. And it's pretty passe, but I'm going to give it a 3.5. So,
Gotcha. I feel like you hit the nail on the head with like the heart from it.
yeah.
And I feel like that's what, and I mean, it's weird to say too, because I feel like by no means am I like a, like Third Day, like expert. Like, I feel like out of their later stuff, like I listened to a lot of it, but there's only like 1 or 2 albums that I'm like from front to back, like I've listened to.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what, as someone who found them later, I think I see as like the confidence in the voice, and I guess I equate that to heart. Maybe I guess it's like Need to Breathe. It's like sometimes when I can't understand what he's saying, I think, oh, he really knows what he really believes that, because he's, you know, like my best friend Keith, he always equated it to like, it sounds like he's like put a bunch of marbles in his mouth. He's trying to sing. And, but I think that's what kind of like is lacking. And I think the album, like this one, it was so difficult because I felt like it was a very like sensitive scale. Like usually it's like, okay, here's my like 30 thoughts about the album or whatever.
Right.
And I feel like with this one, it was like, I think that if you have a little more maybe like confidence in the voice, and like you said, if you cut 2 of the tracks and then if you just change the track listing a little bit, I feel like this easily like gains like a point in my like view or whatever. I feel like for me as it stands, I'm going with 2.5 like stars.
We're talking dance or die territory here.
Which I mean, it's funny because that album, like, I sit there and I'm really looking forward to next week finding out how everyone's like, well, that's the greatest Third Day. You think Revelation was good? Oh,
It's funny though. It has probably your favorite Third Day song on it.
I think that's just the thing is that like maybe it's just like the momentum. Like I like I said, going into it, I remember trying to listen to it years ago and getting a few tracks in and being like, yep, this isn't me. And so for this one, I felt like it was just these like highs and lows where it's like there's a section in there where if you take like Mama, Love Song, Blackbird, Thief, and Consuming Fire, like if you just take those 5 songs and make an EP, I feel like it's like 4 stars, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
But then I feel like it just becomes kind of the end. And like I said, I think this one, it suffers from when you experience what they are. And me and Jordan, we were talking yesterday about Gable Price and Friends is a really good example of, I've discovered them with the Jungle in the City EP. Going back, a lot of their stuff has more of like a worshipful vibe. And so for me, I was curious thinking, man, I wonder how many of their fans, when Jungle in the City came out, they were like, yikes, this is a departure. Like,
Right, yeah.
this song only has half the songs about Jesus. The other songs are, or whatever. Like they saw it as, oh, are they leaving Christian music? Or are they trying to go mainstream? So I think for me, I think it would have been really interesting if I'd never heard of Third Day, kind of like a 5 Iron Frenzy. I feel like I love that album because I had nothing else to, or I've grown to love it, not at the time, but like it wasn't me going like, it's no, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like his voice, I think if I'd never heard it, I would have been like, oh man, like that's cool. But it's, yeah. I feel like I always give the most notes when I give like a lower score. Like if it's 5 stars, I'm like, it's good. What are you going to say about it? But
yeah, it's perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think that I would say the same thing. If you take 2 songs off of this album, then it's probably a 4 for me, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe pull another one off, and you never know what kind of territory you might get into. But I do think there are some really great songs when it comes to a debut album. There's some really great songs on here, but I also think that there's some filler, and cutting some of the filler out would certainly help.
I'm looking forward to eventually when we like we review a newer Third Day song, and you just sit there and you're like, Brandon, you talked all this stuff about who they became, and you think this is good, and it's reversed where I'm like, man, this is a 4-star album, and you're like, Brandon, this is. So I'm looking forward to that day where it's like
Could be interesting for sure. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Cool. Well, let's look at our lyric of the week.
It's time for the lyric of the It's time.
So our lyric of the week, I mentioned it earlier during the review, but it comes from Blackbird. And it goes, Blackbird, who put you in your cage, tell me, was it God or was it you? Was it me? I guess it don't matter anyway. Yeah, I think it was cool that going into it, I was like, well, I guess the lyric's going to come from Love Song. And then I hear that and I'm like, oh, nope, there.
Yeah, it's good. Blackbird's probably my favorite lyrics of it too. So I love that. All right. Well, we're thanking you guys for enduring this with us and listening to our thoughts on the self-titled album from Third Day. It was definitely fun to revisit and dig into. And so we appreciate you being along for the journey. Find us on all the places online. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a review. And we're going to see you back next week.
Hey, are you listening?